those three are dancing. And next thing you know, you got like this crew of people. It's a small crew, but they all join and they all decide, since you out here, we're going to be out here with you. And everybody's dancing. And within minutes, he has about 100 people dancing with him. Because he was willing to be the one to stand out there by himself. And at the end of this video, we're all sitting in the room like, that is evangelism. I mean, you know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm thinking that's evangelism. Willing to stick your head out, stick your neck out for something you believe in, not caring about the emotions of other people. Really, this is what I know I want to do right now, and I'm going to do it with all my might. It's attractive when you do that. Well, we got some who are attracting people out there tearing up stuff, but we can do the same thing if we're really going to stand for what we believe in. We can't take God out of this equation. Because that's the danger in these discussions, is that we have we can list all the laundry lists of social ills. We can talk about the history of what happened. We talk about the individuals involved, and then we start tapping into each past and say, well, see, look at this one. Well, look at this one. But nobody's discussing God's role in this. And when you remove God from it, you have a social situation that can get very volatile. And people get upset. That's why they get fist fighting at work. That's why they say you're not supposed to talk God and politics at the job. Because when you start bringing in these types of opinions, things can get real hot real fast. But because we are the church of God, because we are God's church, we have to say, where is God? Let's identify God in this situation. And this may make you somebody's enemy.
God is all over this situation.
Do you understand what I'm saying? This will set you at odds. Jesus said, I didn't come to make everybody all happy and feel good. I brought a sword. I came really to divide some things. And this is going to separate you from the regular people having these discussions, and everybody's all astute. They're all astute. And I'm trying to figure out why y'all see all these things happening. We have a dead child here, a dead guy here. Right. Can we get concerned about the people in public school, the kids in public school, before they get killed?
Did you hear about the kid Monday who got shot? 20 with airsoft pistol. 12-year-old.
It looks like a gun, so we gun him down. We mow him down.
I mean, he literally looks 9 years old.
And they gun him down because
he ain't pointing at nobody. He like this with it.
So it's an airsoft pistol.
Well, look at how we perpetuate it, though. You hear what I'm saying? There is an assault. There is propaganda, and there is an assault against our young black men. We understand that. You see? So that means I'm not going to buy my son any guns.
Right. I agree.
Right. You don't get no toy gun this year.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because tensions are too high and things are happening. And I don't want you to get comfortable walking around acting like you're shooting people. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to teach you a different way. Now, we've been getting guns since the 70s. You see what I'm saying? They give you the cops and robbers in the 60s, 50s. That was cute, to be, Lone Ranger. It was cute. To have your little horse walking around popping people with, pop guns. So that's not a black thing. Right. But since I know we are at a situation where there is a clear out assault, I'm not going to buy my son guns. I'm not going to let him play Call of Duty.
Right. There was the guy holding the gun in the Walmart this summer who got shot. Please kill him by holding the gun. You hear he was holding like a toy rifle in the Walmart.
So now, because they're going to take you down with extreme prejudice. And I don't believe it's isolated to young men. Right now it's young men. But after a while, you got these thuggish young girls who think they're doing whatever, holding it down. They're trying to
they take it out every time.
Holding it down. You know what I mean? She walking around, excuse me, ma'am, I'm a female. Well, if you got to tell me and you got Texas boy on your shirt, we trying to figure it out. And I love you, mama. You going through all of this. You got to tight shape up. We're trying to figure out who's who. And I'm just going to gun everybody down.
She got real time too.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
She got real time.
She got dude time. You hear what I'm saying?
She get that jail.
She straight up in there. Everybody singing that stuff.
Why she fighting that jail?
Yeah, man, church song off of it. But right, you have to. It's a meme. It's a meme that's out right now. But I just want you to see, we have to talk about our position as Christians. And this is not going to be popular tonight. Trust me. We have to talk about our position and what we are going to stand for, and what God requires of us, how we are to respond as Christians. It is not running out in the street acting stupid. You hear what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
It's not running through the neighborhoods. Come on, y'all, let's go. No, that's not us. That's not. God doesn't require that. He does require us to do something, but it is not that.
You ever notice this ain't happened to Arabs in a minute?
Child, please.
If this was an Arab person, it'd be totally different.
They'd have been on the hush.
Totally different. They would have tried that thing and threw him in the deepest, darkest jail.
And you know what?
Because they don't.
Careful
Because
Latinos
fear,
with them either.
fear and respect.
MS-13 come in and saw y'all out.
Fear and respect. The same thing. They afraid of the Arab's bomb. They might not like the Arab, but they ain't gonna talk about the Arab to his face. They ain't gonna gun down his kids in the street
unless you Family Guy.
Because the Arabs got the bomb. Maybe
I just
you
want
don't
you to
know.
hear this.
Family Guy talk about you.
So
Family Guy talk about everybody.
Here it is. This is what we do. This is what we do. Let's see God's perspective. If you could see, if you, and of course we are not. If you are God right now, let's just say you're God. What do you see?
I see a lot of division.
Okay.
I see monkeys acting like monkeys.
Chill.
I don't think people say that.
I think I would call his people monkeys.
I'm a circus. I'm the monkeys.
What do you think? What do you think? If I see
God, what would I be
Do
seeing?
you think
right
he's
now?
sitting in heaven with his legs crossed, eating popcorn, watching the show?
No, I think I would be disappointed if I.
I think he's waiting for us
To do what?
to bring us. I was just take a stand because one thing. My favorite Christian activist, which is a lot of other people's favorite, is Martin Luther King. We talk about his movement, but he was a preacher first. Mm-hmm. So
I was gonna go there.
So almost on your stuff.
He's sitting like
so I mean, he was able to kind of get the message out. I understand that you're mad. I understand this is wrong, but let's organize it peacefully and let's remember God in it.
So, is there a difference between Christian activism, and I say that in quotes because that's a relatively new term, Christian activism and civil disobedience?
You can be civilly disobedient without being Christian. Gandhi was civilly disobedient.
That's true. Let's define these terms.
But do we honestly think that we could get back to the Martin Luther King time?
I think we could if the right people stepped up. Because this is what I'm seeing in the media.
Like, do you think people can actually come together?
Yeah, because this is another thing I wanted to say before we got deep into it. Don't believe everything you see on TV.
Believe that.
You have to understand that media deceptionism is real. My school did my alumnus, Morgan State, did a peaceful presentation.
So did Bowie State.
And okay, right.
Hey Bowie. I'm like, don't do Bowie like that.
But I looked at CNN and they had violent protests all over the world and had my school as the background.
No,
and
it wasn't violent like that.
at all.
Pretty much every
it was a peaceful situation. So don't everybody is
everybody's
going
like that.
crazy.
In New York they were fine.
Everybody is not.
But everywhere but here, not here. Everywhere but Ferguson, they weren't.
California.
Ferguson had riots.
So what I'm saying is
pictures.
I'm talking about the pictures. But what I'm saying is even in Ferguson, like our national evangelist
not everywhere in Ferguson
has been doing work and has been talking about this since it happened. I mean, literally out there, they will show you the craziness, but they won't show you when they pray for 100 people out there. You know what I'm saying? People give their lives to Christ. So just don't believe everything you see. There is people doing things that, like we're talking today. There's somebody that's doing it God's way. That's right. So but I think that if the right people, back to the question, if the right people stood up and was serious and had the same level of activism and spirituality and leadership ability, then they can do it. The people that I see in the media don't have it. Al Sharpton, off. Jamal Bryant, show and tell. So it's like they're not. It's not the right people. Like I said, one person with the right influence Oprah could literally come and shut the city down. I mean, literally, what had some people singing Kumbaya before she left. But nobody that could or has the right influence has stepped up. Therefore, because back then, we was able to follow. We was able to come together. It wasn't these, you get out of line, we just forget you. You be by yourself. But if we had one mission, everybody got so many different motives.
Everybody got so many different agendas.
That is just kind of like, because I'm Jamal Bryant. Yeah, come on. Like, your city has the highest murder rate. What you doing in Ferguson? Like, you go to club, like your church is called Club Employment. Like, you don't need to. You need to worry about you over here trying to be a celebrity. Like, you need to. So it's not sincere. But if we got the right players, I believe
Because I
that we
noticed
could.
that. I was noticing that last night. They were trying to show like all these places were violent, and I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. I'm seeing the same amount of violence on social media, but just for that, I'm seeing peaceful protests. Pretty much every almost every one of my friends. Howard did one.
Yeah.
I know Morgan did one.
Yeah.
North Carolina A&T did one.
Yeah.
People were sitting down like right after the verdict. I saw people posting like videos. People sitting down in rooms like this discussing what they could do the next day, even to start something peaceful.
Haven't we done that for 50 years?
I understand
But
that
how
though, but what's
How
burning down
long?
your own building gonna do?
But how long?
The
how
right
long
way,
do you think
something.
this effect will have? Because this is the thing about us. We forget really
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, it's not a us thing.
We forget really quick.
That's what I was when I thought about when Jim was over here talking. We have the people put in place actually, and we have people that have started works. It's not that we're, like you said, it's not that we're lacking, models per se. But I think for us the biggest thing is consistency. So when something looks like it's kind of smoothed over now.
People leave it alone.
Now we went out, and this is evangelism. We went out, and 100 people got saved. We get satisfied with that level until the city blows up, until we have car dealerships on fire, and you burning up the pizza spot.
It's stupid.
Then it's like we forgot about what was previously done.
We remember when we're the
happened.
victim.
Exactly.
But when other people are affected, and that shows how
It
we
ain't our
turn
problem.
inward.
We get
Exactly.
And
complacent.
that's the opposite of what Christ has called us
Right.
to do. We are turned inward. And that's a move of the 60s. That was the move of the 60s.
Yeah.
Really, nobody else was helping us, so we turned inward
each other.
to one another.
Right.
The church became our center, and
Right.
that happened
Right.
for a while for self-preservation, for the preservation of us,
Right.
and for our preservation in this country. So I understand the necessity for it. But then, after a while, after we began to get our own, and we began
Exactly.
to emerge with our own house and
right.
car, and we don't have our extended family living in the home with us,
Right.
and grandma's dead, and nobody brings us together for Thanksgiving, soul food, you know what I'm saying? When after all of that, then we erupt and we become, and we have now arrived, we forget. And now, instead of us turning outward, we still turn inward.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
You see? And that's the opposite of what Christ, and I'm going to keep calling his name because we are forgetting Christ in this whole thing.
Yep.
We're busy being hurt and disgusted, but we are not being repentant. And we are not really ready for sacrifice.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying? Be upset. But then be ready to sacrifice. What is this going to call you? What is this going to cause you to do?
So
And
what
that's
you
what
mean
I
by
was thinking,
sacrifice?
like how they did boycotts back in the day.
People
They were
ready to sacrifice.
That was my
You look at
question.
your Martin Luther King was.
People getting little hoses turned on and dogs
You
loose.
look
That was
at-
my
you look
question,
at
like,
Rosa Parks.
Can we go
Literally,
back to that?
she
Can we
got
go back to
locked
boycott?
That's what I'm
I don't think so.
See,
But they talking about boycotting Black Friday.
Like
They're not serious about
that's
it.
not gonna happen.
They're not serious about it.
Not gonna happen.
For that same reason we just discussed.
But I don't even know if that would
Because
make
this is
the-
What does that
impact
happen? How does that
on us.
change? This is the thing.
It would make people hear us. Like
I don't know.
there's a difference
What you talking
between
about?
posting pictures of your hands up
No, I agree with
for
that.
social media.
I agree with that.
But how many of us will boycott
Right.
the bus again?
They're not.
They're not.
They're not.
But I don't think it's
They're
because
gonna get in the
let
classified.
me be,
No,
on the
I
other
mean-
side.
Or
I don't
boycotting,
think
like
it's
whatever.
necessarily
Like
because they don't want to. I think it's because they can't. So it's like when we do, you have to understand that with these movements, they took care of each other. So if I can't ride the bus, then that means you have to take me to work. And if you're not willing to do that,
That's
then we can.
sacrifice.
I know I get that,
This
but
is
that's
what
what I'm
I'm
saying.
saying.
We forget that key piece of that. So you can't say let's boycott Black Friday for the single woman who has been saving up for her kids. She the only one that does Christmas, but yet you don't have to do Black Friday because you pay regular price for your stuff anyway. But you won't help help her out. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand that with the Black Friday comes the people who wants to make the extra money, us, during that Black Friday time. So unless you're going to pay bills at that time, unless you're going to pick up kids, unless you're really going to sacrifice, then we have to, it's another piece to that boycott. It wasn't just we just didn't do, we took care of each other when we did. So if you're going to do that, then you have to make sure that second piece is there. Because what's going to happen is, guess what? You don't do Black Friday, the stores are still going to be fine. But guess what? You, your mama, your cousin, all of them, they going to be let go. They not going to have no job. And the corporate America, they're still going to have their fast severance pay, and they'll go bankrupt. Donald Trump has been bankrupt 7 times.
They'll come back as H.H. Gregg like Circuit City did.
Exactly.
But all those other people,
it's H.H. Gregg.
Right, but and all those people
under a different number,
and all those people are still laid off. So that's all I'm saying. Like, we have to think about the bigger picture. It's not just boycotting. If we boycott, then what?
What? This is what I'm saying.
I think it's a lot of people, they coming with these cop-ups because they sound good. They sound like they're going to appease the situation. But I also think that, you know, the people that do want to address the situation, they don't know what approach to take. Mm-hmm. Like, as far as like thinking back to Martin Luther King, like his thing was the nonviolent resistance. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you have too many Malcolm X's and not enough Martin Luther King.
You don't have any Malcolm X's. Wow. You don't got no.
I feel like when you compare the violence versus like, okay, we're just gonna be violent and that's gonna fix everything. But I'm like, it's not fixing anything. Like, it's
focused violence.
Further,
but Ben,
you need a silk glove and an iron fist.
Okay, you are saying to burn down the proper buildings, and I want you to know something. When the smoke clears, the law has not changed. And matter of fact, when the smoke does clear, half of y'all that committed arson just now on a building that is probably costing a whole lot of money. Y'all about to be in jail. Yeah. Matter of fact, they're gonna say you.
What happened? You think I was thinking we're gonna magically be teleported someplace else?
Let's entertain, and I love intellectual discussions. That's why we have to be able to have this discussion and figure out not how God fits in it, but how we are gonna bring God to it. Mm-hmm. You see, right. God, we have to bring God to these situations. That's what we're called to do. Here it is. Let's entertain the Black Friday thing, right? I ain't on Black Friday. Y'all going out there, nobody's gonna be out there preaching about blah blah. But what happens is we might not go on Black Friday, but guess what? Everything 50% off the day after Christmas. Right. So what happens is we go the day after Christmas and get it for 35-50% off. Yeah, I protested Black Friday, but you got stuff marked down in the back room for next year.
Cyber Monday. The day after Christmas. Cyber Monday.
So boycott Black Friday would mean to sacrifice Christmas.
That's what you're saying. And my thing is, we're not about that life because we have to show off. Because we turn in because we're the best. You see, we're still trying to keep up. Why does that leave us? And what does God say about it? Let me tell you, for real, Christian activism, this is the definition for it. Christian activism is using governmental powers to change societies. Christian activism is really trying to influence ungodly people to live like Christians. Is that going to happen?
They can.
For this, through civil disobedience, it can. Yeah. Through civil disobedience, when you take a stand, it will cause people to change. Mm-hmm. That's what Martin Luther King did. He took a stand. Right. He didn't go get a position in the government. He didn't go and lobby and tell them. He didn't try to force Christian values on an ungodly society. Right. It's not going to happen because Matthew chapter 24 says that these things have to happen before the end time comes. It has to happen. Everything that we'll be moaning and the things that we're complaining about, they have to happen because the return of Christ is soon. The mothers have to kill sons. Children, and that's unfortunate because sin did that. God did not do that. God foretold it in His Word, but sin brought these things into the world.
Why gotta happen to us?
You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. And that's a media approach because trust me, it's happening in every culture. Right. It's happening on every front. We're just the more publicized ones because that's a part of the propaganda. That's a part. It sound like the nation, but it's part of the propaganda, right? But we're the more publicized, and we don't hardly see a lot of the positive things. Right. We see the negativity in it, and when the negativity is attached to a certain group of people, it's justified to exterminate them.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So here it is. We have Christian activism. There is nowhere in the Bible where somebody tried to use a government position. Now we have governmental positions. We have our Nehemiahs who are working and they say, let me go and build. Let me go. I have a burden. When I look and I see the walls of Jerusalem torn down, can I please go back to my home and build up these walls? I have Esther, and that's the closest thing I could get to Christian activism. Because the Bible for real says that we're supposed to submit to authority over us. For real. That's the ugly part that we don't like. It's the truth. But because all powers are set up by God. Because he's working a will that we can't see. Now, if they're telling us to do something wrong, civil disobedience says, no, I'm not going to bow down to your idol. I'm going to take a stand. But here we have Christian activism where we're trying to make ungodly society have moral Christian values. It's not going to happen.
So we need to do civil disobedience.
This is where you want to be a civil disobedience.
This is tricky because Christian activism seems like we need to
do that.
Yes. It's tricky.
It pulls us in because when somebody is an activist, and Martin Luther King was an activist who happened to be a Christian, but he was really civilly disobedient. He didn't get government officials together. He didn't. Jesus didn't either.
Let me flip that for you.
Let's talk about it.
Flip it.
He wasn't a Christian activist. Watch this. Watch what I'm gonna do.
Ooh.
He was an active Christian.
Flipped it.
Flipped it.
That's what we related. And if we could get more active Christians, do you hear what I'm saying? When the church really stand up and become active and stand on the principles and the word of God, trust me, change will happen. We will be those that turn the world upside down. You hear what I'm saying? Because of our stand. We don't have to, let me tell you something.